Hello and welcome to the Fanfiction Book Club podcast, a weekly podcast that explores the good, the bad, and the cringy of fanfiction, hosted by me, Tstan, and my lovely co-hosts, Poppy.
Hi.
Ollie.
Hey.
And SG.
Heyo.
Every month we scour the internet to bring you 4 different fanfic reads, and our theme this month is Phantom of the Opera. Check out our website at fanfictionbookclub.com or follow us on Twitter and Instagram at fanfictionados for the full lineup of stories for the month and to connect with us on the web. The fanfic we are discussing this week is Unrequited Love, Blame Assumptions by Ace Sama on Archive of Our Own. This work was written in 2017 and is a little over 23,000 words. Included in the tags are alternate universe, modern setting, asexual character, antique shop AU, maskless Eric, kid Meg freeform, and my favorite, polyamory. Summary is, blinking, Raoul noticed that the man was holding up a little girl in his arms. The girl, Meg, was perhaps 8 or 9 and had long blonde hair that was pinned up, and wore flower-patterned shorts and a t-shirt with a music note on it. She was probably the man's daughter. Bummer. Why did the hot ones always have to be married? Basically, this is a story where Christine and Raoul are together, but meet Eric, who they think is married because he had Meg with him. The story goes on with them falling in love, but Christine and Raoul think Eric's married, while Eric thinks that the two are in love with a married man, something he is not.
Wow, that's just literally the entire plot right there.
Yeah, there you go. So my work is done. See you guys next week. Say bye. Bye. So yeah.
Are you going to make the notes?
No. It's like another chapter.
Just shut that author down. Read it. Just read the chapter 1 notes. Just read the chapter 1 notes.
Alright, here's the notes for chapter 1. Okay, here's the next story. I literally made this entire story based off prompts from a Tumblr post. Another note, Eric's 29 in this. I say this now because it causes a few jokes later on. Maybe you'll catch them.
I didn't catch them. I didn't catch them either.
And there's a couple disclaimers about not owning Phantom of the Opera. We get it. This was right when Anne Rice was in sue mode, so.
Also, their disclaimer, all asexuals are different, and each have their own preferences, just like anyone else in a different orientation. I don't know why the phrase all asexuals are different makes...
Well, anyone of any sexuality is different. Two straight people are completely different from each other.
I know, but just all asexuals are different. It just makes us seem like we're
a creature?
Yeah, like some alien race or something. Like, I don't know, it's weird.
As an asexual, not of this world, something beyond. No,
yes.
we are happy with all sexualities, creeds, whatever here. We're accepting of all of them. And they're all people who just like their own things, and that's fine.
That's basically what that disclaimer is.
Yeah, it's just worded weird. And for those of you who don't know, I am asexual. So that just was like, I don't know, it just was weird.
It didn't make your heart warm and fuzzy?
I am not offended, but that's just odd wording.
I think what the author is going for is, like, some people are sex repulsed, some people are not. Yeah. They're not going to explore the whole range of that in this fic. This is not what this is about.
Yeah, that's not a... Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this author has several other stories, all where Eric is ace, and it is just chef's kiss. Beautiful.
Yeah, I love that.
Are they all, like, slice of life style?
Oh, absolutely.
Fits? Oh, okay.
I mean, what I saw.
Okay.
They're all very
similar.
similar.
I didn't look into the author's other stories. I just looked at this one.
Yeah, this author came up quite a bit when I was looking for this story.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, I think I saw this author on fanfiction, too.
Yeah. So, which is nice, because, I'll be honest, a lot of Phantom of the Opera stories is just banging. Like, it's all...
Oh. Yeah.
It's a lot of it.
It seemed like when I was looking for stories, there was a healthy amount of like rated G, rated teen, more innocent content, if that's what you're looking for.
But yeah, so it's nice to see more of an adult relationship kind of explored without
without bringing a sexual element into it.
Exactly. So, quick synopsis. First of all, I want to mention there's a theme here in the last 2 weeks. Because this story begins with a shoe hitting somebody.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
It totally does. Wow, shoes aren't a thing in Phantom of the Opera though, right?
That's so funny.
No, that's not a thing.
What a weird coincidence.
Except this time, it's a small child's shoe hitting Raoul in the face.
That's so funny.
Yes.
Yeah, it literally hits him in the head. It's great.
Poor Raoul. He's getting shoe abused.
And he gets, like, knocked out, which, like, it was a child's shoe. Like, how...
From a roller coaster.
Yeah, how tender is
I mean, what's the velocity on that?
It depends, like, how fast is that shoe coming down to earth?
But also, like, what was the shoe made out of? Was it like a platform shoe? Because that I can understand.
It was a baby Doc Martin.
Yeah, but if it was
That's actually sick. I like that idea.
If it was like a jelly sandal.
I don't know. You get hit in the head hard enough with anything.
Yeah, feathers can hurt sometimes.
Yeah.
So Raoul and Christine are at a fair, and he's trying to win her a dolphin, which will appear later. And he gets hit in the head with a shoe. And that's how they meet Eric and Meg, who is a little, like, 8 or 9-year-old in this. I actually can't remember. But she's a small child, and Christine and Raoul spend the day with Eric and Meg. They ask him to join them in their fair, and they have fun. And then they're like, oh, he's got a kid. Dang it. And, like, just write it off as, he's married, whatever. We'll just move on. Because they are polyamorous, so they don't mind adding another person to their romance. So Eric wins Christine the dolphin, and Christine gives Eric her and Raoul's numbers to have him call them. And Raoul asks, how did you write down our phone numbers with that stupid dolphin in your arms? Christine sent him a mischievous grin. I had that ready to give to him by the time he agreed to come with us. So they are 100% like, hey. So they end up meeting on Halloween again. And they get to talk to Meg a little bit more. And Eric, this is not a very good story to summarize.
A lot happens. There's many chapters.
They literally meet every chapter. They meet each other in a random place.
Like, what a coincidence!
And are like sad that they can't smooch, and then that's it. And then it goes on to the next chapter.
Yeah, and then
4.
Yeah, rinse, repeat. Like it's literally just like, we can't be with him because he's married, and then they meet again, and then it's like, oh, we can't be with him because he's married.
I know. It's literally like either just give up already, or like
have an adult conversation about it.
Exactly.
So question.
Yeah, go for it.
I live pretty close to my best friend Poppy. And we actually grew up like 6 blocks from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Or not quite. Yeah, probably about 6 blocks. And I think in the entire time that we've known each other, we've only seen each other at the store once.
Yeah. Yeah, we like in our town that we grew up in, there was one grocery store.
Yeah.
Like that everybody went to. And yeah, we ran into each other one time.
And
we lived in the same town for 23 years. Like,
yes. And then she moved, and I moved, and then we were both in another area, and we never crossed paths.
Yeah.
And then I moved back to our hometown, and she's like just one town away, and we still never, like, I think one time we waved to each other when you were coming back from the train station in your car. But it's like very rare, like once a year we might encounter each other outside of a planned meeting.
But to be fair, I felt like this was like a small town situation. Like it seemed like we're all from like a large city-ish. It sounded like with their little carnival and their little stores. Like he owns like an antique shop.
store, yeah.
Yeah. So it just felt like very small town to me.
I don't know. I was
not
thinking
much to do.
It was like a Manhattan-y, suburb-y type.
Really? I was thinking like Port Townsend. Like that was like in my head.
Actually, yeah, I was also thinking like Astoria.
Or possibly like Ballard or something.
Yeah.
Really?
I was thinking like smaller town. For sure.
I can tell you.
Like maybe
a
neighborhood of a city. But I didn't think it was small town.
Yeah, I didn't think of it as small town, but I thought of it as like I don't know, the suburbs.
Yeah, like, maybe it's like the old section of my current town. It's like got all the old shops in it.
Yeah.
There's no antique store there anymore, but there used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking it was just something like that, where it's just like a neighborhood within a city or something. Mm-hmm. They didn't seem completely far removed. Otherwise, how does an antique shop make it in a truly small town? Because it's usually visitors that fund them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably a relatively small town.
It's ambiguous romantic fantasy town.
Yeah.
You know, the one you see in all the Hallmark movies.
I was just about to say.
That's it.
So yeah, they literally keep meeting and are like, "Aw, we can't date each other."
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually they meet Eric. I think it's Christine who goes to the antique shop, and the dots start going together because he lives there when Meg's father is home. He's like a live-in best friend uncle when he's away.
Yeah.
And I think that's when the dots start to connect.
Well, no, because Christine never really connects the dots until...
right.
I don't think
I'm sorry, I forgot she was dumb.
Until Raoul he had his little drinking.
Oh, God,
right.
Babysitting the kid.
So, okay, so they have this whole, like, comedy of errors, and they keep meeting and running into each other. And then, they become friends. And so Eric, one day, Christine is in Eric's, antique shop, and...
Called the Phantom's Lair, by the way.
Yeah, called the Phantom's Lair.
And he's wearing the mask because of a bet.
Yeah. Yeah, he lost a bet. He has to wear a mask. His face is still all mangled and stuff. Like, but so then Eric is like, "Hey, do you mind watching Meg this weekend?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." No, oh yeah. He texts Christine because Madame Giry is in the shop, and her husband are going to go on a date, but her husband doesn't want I just Eric. Keep wanting to call him the Phantom. Her husband doesn't want Eric to babysit Meg because he's like jealous, and so Eric texts Christine and is like, "Hey, do you mind watching Meg tomorrow night," or something like that? And they're like, "Sure." So Raoul and Christine watch Meg, and then like Meg says like, "Oh yeah, Dad's never here," and they're like, "What are you talking about? He lives with you." And she's like, "No, he doesn't." And then they realize that Eric is not actually Meg's dad, and he's not married to Madame Giry, and then Raoul has a panic attack and leaves and gets super drunk. I have no idea why he does this. And
because he's impulsive.
He
Love never dies.
He's just like, why is he so upset that he found out that the guy that he's in love with isn't married? I don't understand.
I don't know.
He never learned how to process his emotions like an adult, because anyone else would just take a minute and take a deep breath and compare the facts.
Yeah. So then, so it was really weird. And then they get together, and yay.
See, look, Poppy should just take over the rest of the episode. I'll see you guys later.
No, Tstan.
This is your story.
You are the captain of this ship.
No.
Can we at least discuss the lettuce scene where they talk about their sexuality in the produce aisle?
I know,
right? Oh my god, it's so good. So again, with the meeting at a grocery store, just meeting random places. So they're in the grocery store, and
Eric helps Raoul pick out lettuce.
Oh my god,
and then
ridiculous.
They end up having
it's
a
so
conversation about their sexualities,
including the fact that Raoul and Christine are in love with a married man.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, Eric does not connect that dot because he's not married.
Yeah.
He's not married, and he's asexual, and
they do.
Like, I guess that's great for you guys. I like you, but okay.
Whole conversation
a lot of assumptions happening.
So many assumptions happening.
And all it's telling me is this is realistically written, because let me tell you that this is a difficult conversation for two men to have.
Very difficult, especially two metrosexual men to have.
Exactly, and it's always
feelings.
Let me tell you, gay misunderstanding is a trope for a reason. We're bad at this, okay?
Also, at the chapter is chapter 6. A lettuce bunch is a great place to talk, and I just wanted to point that out because what a title for a chapter.
Yeah,
absolutely. So they Eric goes in and rescues Raoul from a literal gutter where he's drunk, and then they have a conversation like adults, and it's amazing.
And
amazing how that could have been
this
solved.
Isn't at the lettuce thing. This is at the end after Raoul's drunk. They have an adult conversation.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. After Raoul runs away and gets drunk, they take him home. They try and sober him up, and then they have a conversation over breakfast. And then, finally, they're adults. It's amazing.
Yeah. And then they have the epilogue.
The epilogue, where they buy a house and are happy domestic bliss.
Yeah. They buy a house, and also Madame Giry and Meg live with them too.
Yes. Which was interesting, considering the fact that her husband, the whole story was because her husband didn't like Eric.
But now her husband's okay with Eric because he's in a relationship and he can't steal his wife.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone's
which seems
a little possessive and insecure.
Healthy.
Yeah, especially for a guy that goes on archaeological digs.
And just
I guess he's not there all the time to complain.
Yeah.
You need to be a little more secure in your relationship, sir.
Or at least, have a conversation with your wife.
I think they're having conversations, but I think it's mostly her just okay, let's not make this weird for him.
Yeah.
And Eric agreeing.
Yeah. But yeah, they get a house together, and everybody lives there except for the husband. Because he's never around.
He has a little broom closet he can put his stuff in when he visits.
They have a fold-out couch, so, he can...
Yeah.
He's off being, I don't know, doing something.
He's like an archaeologist or an anthropologist. I don't remember which.
Yeah, one of those.
And the ending line is, or one of the ending lines is, who would have thought that Meg not wearing the proper shoes to a carnival would have led Eric to this happiness? and it's very cute.
This was a very cute story.
God, this is a good story. However, it did kind of repeat itself a lot.
It repeated itself a lot, but my big thing with this story, we can get into it more with the writing, was the grammatical errors.
Oh boy. Yeah, we'll get there.
Stabbed me in the throat.
We'll get there. All right. Plot. Let's talk about plot.
Plot was adorable.
This is a Hallmark movie. It's a Hallmark movie with some of the opera characters.
Yeah.
And I liked the poly twist.
Yes.
So are polyamorous relationships, is that something that's explored a lot in the Phantom of the Opera fandom?
Usually it's love triangle.
Okay.
Yeah, the polyamorous, just because it's kind of a rarer thing per se. It's not really went through, and if it is, it's not very healthy. This is one of the healthier ones I've ever read.
Yeah.
Are you talking specific to the Phantom of the Opera fandom, or just
specifically?
No.
Okay. Specifically, Phantom of the Opera. There are a lot of different fandoms who do it, and there are some that do it better than others. This, because the basis of this relationship, like the play version and the book and the movie, is very unhealthy.
Yeah.
A lot of them are very unhealthy depictions. This is not. This is good.
No, this was like a very sweet, wholesome poly relationship that did not have sex involved. Because usually when a story goes poly, it becomes like a really sexual thing. But I like
it was nice. It's nice to see, because that is
the emotional side of it.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, but again, it's a Hallmark movie. I mean, we're not talking like intrigue and mystery.
No, you definitely knew what was going to happen next the entire time. But I appreciated that it took the Hallmark idea and then just put it in this frame of characters with a different kind of sexuality.
Absolutely.
And a different approach to relationships.
I would love some queer coded, some good polyamory Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
They would sell. Give them to me.
You'd actually buy them instead of torrent them?
Oh, absolutely. Hey, I don't torrent anything. Hello?
No, I'm sorry. Why would I say that?
Oh my god.
Please strike that from the record.
You're gonna get the FBI sent to my house. But yeah, so it's very sappy, but I think that it worked okay. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of sap every once in a while.
Yeah.
And then we did talk briefly about small town versus suburb versus...
A little vague.
It's a little vague, but it's also Hallmarky again.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely Hallmarky.
There's some tropes that go along with that, and I think they fit right into that. Okay, characters.
Yes.
What'd you think?
I was gonna say something.
I was gonna say, I especially want to hear from those who did not know anything about Phantom of the Opera before.
Ollie.
I mean, I like the characters. I don't know if they were really in line to like the book or the play or the movie. But they're all really like wholesome people, and they're very cute together, and I really like the characters in this story. And I liked how they went, the point of view is Eric, Raoul, and Christine. Like, I typically don't like it when they switch between characters, especially more than two. But I think it really worked in the story because they were all main characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, I do feel like you could put anybody's name in any of these characters and it would work.
Yeah. This could have been like an original work.
Exactly.
OCs.
Exactly. It felt very romance novel-esque in that it did feel like it could have been anybody.
Yeah.
But I feel like for what they did, I mean, no, they did not stick to the characters well, because Eric is a psychopath.
Yeah. Eric was a wonderful gentleman in this.
He was.
Eric
he had some mystery about him.
Dad vibes.
Yeah, look,
like
they did not
hard English dad vibes in this.
They did not stick to the original characterizations at all. And that is okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that one.
Yeah, I think the story and the way that the characters interacted with each other was satisfying enough to let that detail go.
And I was deliberately looking for something that did not have the creepy, gross relationship phantom thing happening. I specifically avoided that. Because it's not my thing. That's why I'm like, oh yeah, no, the Phantom's great, but I don't ever want to read about
it. Says the pro-Phantom person in the group.
Pro-Phantom as a concept.
So was Eric in, like, the book or play, whatever, did he have yellow eyes? Or, like, weird color eyes or something?
If he was like a rat man, that would make sense.
Like,
yeah. In
the
story, it said his eyes were, like, golden. I'm like, that kind of threw me off because I felt like this was supposed to be,
yeah, because usually
modern.
The closest a real person's eyes get to golden is, like, amber, like a medium brown.
I'm pretty sure that's what they were going for.
Just, like, amber eyes?
Yeah. I want to say...
He said, like, yellow, golden, and I'm just like, is he some... fantasy in this or something? But no, there wasn't.
I think it's like a Catman or something.
Yeah.
With my cat's
I think
eyes.
it's referenced, and I think it's part of... I want to say Gerard Butler had pretty light brown eyes, or maybe I'm just really wrong.
I don't even know what Gerard Butler's eyes looks like.
Okay. It looks like it's from the book. Yeah, it's from the book.
Okay.
Described as having yellow gold eyes.
Interesting. So he's a rat man.
Rat boy.
See, and that's why it's so easy to get into, like, oh yeah, I like the Phantom because it's like, ha, my little rat man. But yeah, it looks like it's from the book.
Okay.
But I just went with it. I was like, all right.
Because that's very striking to have if he truly had yellow eyes.
Yeah.
Like, I would be like, are you a witcher, sir? Or something like that.
Yeah, and what they do is they never do contacts for whoever's playing the Phantom.
Uh-huh.
So it's whatever the actor's eyes are.
Yeah, because what's the point of having contacts
for
a stage performance?
Yeah. Okay. And so his scarring, I'm assuming his brain was not.
I'm gonna guess it's probably some of the more, less, like, horrifying version.
Yeah.
So he just has like some facial scarring on one
side
of
I'm
his
sure
face,
it's like,
or, like,
I'm sure it's like Prince Zuko level.
Yeah. That's what it sounded like in this story. Like, they did not describe exposed brain.
Yeah, I was like, if he had exposed brain, I would be so worried for him with germs and everything. Like, he should have something covering that.
Had a full head of hair in this.
Yeah, and even the show that I sent you guys, even that went way harder than, like, the movie did.
The movie barely did anything.
The movie barely did anything.
So he just had, like, one or two scars on his face or something?
The movie was Prince Zuko. Like, one side of his face was red.
A little bit more than that, but yeah.
Every time I think of Prince Zuko, I think of that Island Players episode where they're like, nice Zuko costume, except your scar's on the wrong side.
That's
my scar's not on the wrong side.
Inaccurate.
He got so worked up about that.
But yeah, I would say it's probably more Zuko lines.
Okay.
Than anything else.
Alright, that's not bad at all.
Because that's usually, I've noticed, especially with this fandom, everyone is pretty grossed out by the face.
Yeah.
It's designed to be unpleasant to look at.
Mm-hmm. Hence
so a lot
the
of
mask.
the art, hence the mask. So a lot of the art actually downplays it very, very heavily. So it is very Zuko-esque.
So what is the canon face?
Is
there a canon face? Or has everyone just... Can I see this canon face?
Yeah, give me a minute.
Can we share it with the people? I'm sure they're curious as well.
I sent you the link. And I'm going to read you the excerpt from the book.
Okay.
So what I sent was a Lon Chaney family opera from the 1925 movie, which is considered the most accurate to the book.
Oh, okay.
Okay, in the original novel, Eric is described as corpse-like and is referred to as having a death's head throughout the story. He has no nose, eyes that are sunken so deep that all is seen are two skull-like eye sockets, except when his golden eyes glow in the dark. Skin that is yellow and lightly stretched across his bones, and only a few wisps of dark brown hair behind his ears and on his forehead.
So nothing about exposed gray matter?
No.
Okay. He looks like Benjamin Button.
Oh, I was gonna say he looks like Dracula, but
Yeah.
He looks like Dracula and Benjamin Button put together. Like he's a middle-aged guy that looks like a really old man.
And it's his whole face in the original.
Yes.
Not just half.
So yeah, that is as close to the original book in content. Considering this movie came out 15 years after the book was released.
Yeah. Also, fun fact, so in the book, I'm pretty sure the Phantom had a full mask.
Yes.
Right?
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
So the Phantom had a full mask, but for stage, you can't hear anything when someone has a full mask on, so that's why they reduced it down to that half mask, so that they can still sing.
Snap.
For a while,
so many things today.
For a while, I think it was actually like, it was a full mask down to the nose, and then it went around the mouth on both sides.
Oh, okay.
I think that was one of the movie adaptations or one of the screen adaptations.
Interesting.
And then they did the half mask for stage.
Yeah. Yeah, they also tried to do like a half half mask from like the nose up, like that, like complete covering like that, but it was still hard to sing in that, so then it was the one side of the face.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool to see that the evolution of that was just inspired by being able to get your actors to sing properly.
Yeah,
and costume.
Yeah, the exposed like brain matter and all of that is all created for the stage version.
Oh, okay.
The original, I mean, you could see from the picture I sent, but the original had hair and
yeah. He I mean, that makes more sense than I can imagine someone from a child growing up looking like this than someone just having exposed brain bits and whatnot from infancy. That doesn't seem logical.
It's because you have to be able to see the deformity from the audience.
Okay.
You know, from the cheap seats, you have to be able to see what's happening.
Cheap seats.
Yeah, the nosebleeds.
Quote unquote cheap seats.
Yeah, the cheap seats that are $100 instead of
$600.
Yeah.
So it's probably again, a lot of the fandom likes to tone it down a little bit because
Yeah.
So it's very like Zuko.
Okay, so just like a hot guy with facial scars.
Bingo.
Is the Eric in this?
Absolutely.
And this is like the version of him that a lot of the fandom use as a visual of him.
Absolutely.
To represent him. Okay.
At least from what I've seen. Maybe there's some like niches.
That's what it seems like. Because the stories that I read, they don't necessarily describe. They say that he's kind of horrifying, but they don't say in what way.
Yeah, a lot of these stories take from the stage show.
Okay.
But I do think that they downplay the gross. Because a lot of these are like, he's hot and I want to date him. And there's a level there.
And so, talking about characters, I was not crazy about the dad vibes that Eric was giving off and the way that he was treating Raoul and Christine. Like, he kind of talked to them like children a little bit.
Yeah, he especially in the epilogue, he
Yeah, I think that scene in the epilogue is what kind of cemented it to feel a little weird for me. I think that was the only thing that was kind of weird to me about their relationship is he was older, but it almost felt like he kind of looked.
He was 29.
I know he was.
I know he wasn't that much older.
He wasn't.
He was older.
He was 5 years older than them.
And and for whatever reason, the author wrote him at the end almost like a dad figure separating two kids. And I'm like, I don't know. To me personally, that wouldn't be hot if I was dating someone and they talked to me like that. I would be like, I'm sorry, sir, we're done.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic that I think that a lot of the fandom tends to touch on, because I think in the play there's like a 20-year age difference between Eric and Christine.
Yeah.
Which, if you're gonna change their ages, toss the dynamic out. We don't need that.
Yeah, I think that was my only complaint character-wise. Other than that, I thought characters are great. And isn't Meg Christine's best friend or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I was thinking that, and they repurposed her as a child.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Repurposed.
Yeah, in the play, I believe they're the same age, or Meg's a little younger.
Yeah, I know that they were both dance line girls.
Yeah.
When they started. Yeah. Which, I mean, I didn't have a problem with this. There's a lot of fandoms that will repurpose a character or someone's best friend as someone's child, which is very random. But I wasn't invested enough in the fandom to care that Meg became a child.
And look, no disrespect to Meg, but she's not very character-y anyway.
Yeah, she didn't seem like she had a big part. She was just someone who happened to have a name.
Yeah.
In the play.
Yeah. So, anything else we want to add about the characters now that we've talked about the Phantom's face for 20 minutes?
Yeah. I think in regards to Eric and Christine, they were both very immature.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of odd. Like, they're both adults. They're what they say, they're like 23, 24. And they live together. They have an apartment together, but they just acted very childlike.
I know, almost like they're teenagers.
Oh, okay, yeah, Raoul and Christine, okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, not the Phantom.
I mean, yeah, they were definitely immature, but I see couples like that.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, I will be silly with people, but that's definitely not out in public for the world to witness. That's like on my personal time, I'll be silly SG. But it seemed like they just didn't have a filter on it. But I mean, I see people like that all the time, and I wonder, like, is your relationship gonna last? Because it seems like you're just having little immature fights and picking at each other. But some couples are like that, and they're oddly perfectly happy doing that.
I mean, they didn't even have, like, little fights. I mean, they kind of did, like, about the dolphin, but, like, I don't know, just the way that they acted around, like, each other and around other people. They were just very immature. And it was
I think this was a characterization created by the author.
Yeah.
Because I read some of their other stuff. And literally like a month after they wrote this story, they wrote a story where Raoul and Christine were 17.
Sure. That would make more sense.
The Phantom was older.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, there's a reason I went, and walked away from that one.
Yeah.
But that would make sense in that characterization. Yeah. Especially a month later. Just to have another 12-chapter story.
Of that very similar.
Yeah, it was a very similar vibe.
Okay. Yeah, and the fact that Poppy brought up that they're immature, that offset Eric's, like, dad vibes.
Yeah, the dad vibes were strong.
Yeah, like, that definitely highlighted it to a new level. The fact that they definitely needed some sort of mature reining in to their behavior.
So, anything else?
Yeah. No.
Okay. So, the writing. Now, SG, I know you have something to say.
Oh my goodness. There was spelling issues. There was grammatical issues. There were weird instances where the author added in sentences of details that were not necessary at all to move the story further. And they phrased these sentences in such a way that it was just horrid to read. I really thought the story was cute, but the writing was very disappointing.
Yeah, and there was also, like, they talked very formally sometimes. And it was, like, kind of unnecessary considering they're supposed to be, you know, familiar with each other. And
well, I know Eric talked really formally.
But, like, even Christine at certain points was just, it sounded like it just didn't sound natural. Like, maybe that was it. I think this, when they talked to each other, like, just the speech didn't sound natural coming from, you know, some young 20-somethings
that acted the way that they acted.
Yeah.
I
think they were trying to incorporate the language from the show, which is fine, but you know, the 1900s is not the same as modern suburbia.
Yeah.
I thought the writing, I will agree on all the points about the spelling and the grammatical errors for sure. But I'm also the kind of person who can kind of tune those out.
Yeah, I definitely had tuned them out. It didn't bother me as much as,
which is interesting.
It bothered me so much.
I think I'm so used to, like, really bad, like, fan fiction.
Well, that's why
it doesn't faze me.
You do choose the weird ones.
You do, Ollie. Like, my threshold for that, I'm like, no. Like, if I was reading this on my own, if I got through 2 paragraphs and there were sentences that made no sense, I'd be like, I'm done, sorry. Even though, I mean, I'm glad I stuck through because the premise is very cute. Writing.
Oh, I realized the author has, like, notes on every chapter.
They have notes on every chapter, and they called out answers to all of the comments that people left.
I think, which is it's a sign of the time for sure.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to see, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem.
I think this was one of their first stories too.
Oh.
I think so.
Yeah, they summarize every single chapter.
Yeah, at the beginning of the chapter.
Yeah.
It's like their third story. So yeah. I don't know what has changed between then and now, but I can imagine that they've evolved a little bit. They've grown.
Their writing.
Absolutely. And they seem to be putting out 20, 15 chapter stories.
That's a lot. That's like a full side hustle.
Yeah.
It's a lot of writing.
So, and they seem to be pretty consistent with it too. So, hey, if they can, who knows how they've improved. So it's nice to see.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they've improved because this is back in 2017, and if they're still active, good on them.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just, I think this really could have benefited. This is probably one of those situations where the person they wrote it and they put it up instead of like double checking their writing or editing, getting a beta reader or something. I think if there was a beta reader, they would have told them about these very obvious things that they were missing.
Again, who knows if they've got a beta reader now? I don't see it, but
I don't know. This is the only story I've read from them, so this is not a reflection on their writing ability, just the story. Could have used some extra love.
Yeah. I'm looking through comments. I'm not going to read all of these. There's 80 of them.
Yeah.
I know this was a very involved readership to this story, and they must have been just actively following it while the chapters were going out.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, Phantom of the Opera is one of those ones where, again, it kind of survives the whole time. Because here's a comment from July of 2020. And the author responded.
Oh snap! Well, because they're still writing stories, so they're still active.
Oh yeah, What I'm saying is that this is the kind of this fandom I've noticed over the years tends to be pretty consistent. Like, even if it's an older story, people will find it and they will read it. As evidenced by myself.
Yeah, okay, Liam Neeson.
I will find you. And I will read you.
I will kill.
But yeah, they'll go through the thousands of stories that exist and be like, okay, I want that. And I want that. It doesn't have to be a new fandom. And I noticed a resurgence, because this fandom's been around forever. But I noticed a resurgence every time they recast someone in the show. So each time there's a new run of the show, there's like a whoop. Jump.
Like a big spike in activity.
And
the Phantom is described differently every time.
That's so interesting that he changes so much over the years.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, it's obviously a sign that, they're evolving. But yeah, so a lot of the comments are stuff like, "This was so good, how dare you?"
How dare you?
Lots of hearts. So I don't really see even any constructive criticism.
No, because I think that I mean, this is us nitpicking on the show when we like focus.
Absolutely,
on plot
but
and writing and all of that and characters. But I mean, if you're just reading this story for the fun of reading it and you're not super bothered by like grammatical errors, then this is a great option to
absolutely
lose some time in.
I'm also the kind of person who will be like, hey, just so you know, this one paragraph was really confusing to read, but I still liked it.
Do you comment on people's fics? Because I never, I don't engage with anyone on the internet.
Depends on the fic. Like, if it really touches me, absolutely. Or if it is something that, like, they didn't tag it correctly, of course I'm gonna be like, hey, tag this. Warn somebody, y'all.
I don't even use kudos. Like, I just...
I'm a kudos fiend.
Oh, yes. Hi. Just to point out, you left a kudos on this story because I scrolled down.
I see your
and
name.
I saw your username, and I was like, wait a sec.
Like, I know this person.
Yeah.
What, me?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're the most recent kudos on this story.
Oh, I literally just said thank. Oh, because I'm not logged in. That's why. I was like, it just said thank you for leaving kudos. Yeah, no, I'm a kudos fiend. That's how I'm like, okay, if it's not like, oh my god, I have to leave a comment. Kudos.
Yeah, like it's very rare that I'll even like a Twitter post. Like, that's how unresponsive I am on the internet.
But yeah, so how well did they stick to the fandom? Not at all. And it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't. Eric's a much better person.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with going off the grain, especially if it's something as well known as Phantom.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Please.
Under the guise of a Hallmark film.
Make up whatever you want at this point. This story has been told so many times, just...
make it different.
Throw a dart at the wall and whatever sticks. Do we wanna give it a rating? Or do we have any thoughts?
Any extra thoughts? There was one weird comment that the author made.
Uh-oh.
So it was about Christine was out with, she was out and that guy was hitting on her, and then Eric helps her out, and this is the next chapter. So, it goes, Christine was sulking, she knew it, and it's in chapter 5. So it's right at the beginning of the chapter, and then I'm going to go down a little bit, and then Christine goes, and then it goes, Christine was sulking, she knew it, something happened at work, today being no exception. Christine didn't want to go back to her apartment because she knew that Raoul would be concerned and try to cheer her up. She saw nothing wrong with him doing that, but for now she wanted to wallow in her guilt. Then she'll go home and try to feel better. She wasn't planning on getting drunk either. Maybe a slight buzz at most, since she had to drive herself back. She guessed that it was a good thing that it was Wednesday. The police are less on high alert for people who drink and drive. Not that she was going to drink that much. What a random...
I did notice that.
It was an interesting thing, and it was also interesting that I'm fairly certain I'm gonna find it. Yeah, the reason she was at the bar is because somebody died.
Yeah, it's like, because she's a nurse or a care worker or something.
Yeah, and so it was like, oh, I'm not gonna drink and drive, of course not. And then it's like, yeah, I'm here because somebody died. I'm like, where did this come from?
Yeah, but it was just weird going through her mental gymnastics that the author wrote for her. She wasn't planning on getting drunk. She guessed that it was a good thing it was Wednesday. The police are less on high alert for people who drink and drive.
Not that she's gonna drink.
That's just like such a weird sentence.
And also, I did, like, there was no mention that she was a nurse until this chapter, and that they never mention it again.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and it was a weird insert to be like, oh, I'm here drinking because somebody died.
Yeah.
She could have just been in the bar.
Yeah.
She could have just been in the bar. Well, I'm wondering, is this a real thing that on Wednesday the police are less on high alert?
No, I don't think
drink
so.
And drive?
The police are always on alert.
They should always be on alert.
No, I don't think that's an actual thing.
Yeah.
I just thought that was very weirdly specific, like an oddly specific detail.
Like a Wednesday of all days.
To bring up while the author is writing her inner monologue about considering whether to drink and drive or not drink and drive.
Yeah.
Just for the record, never drink and drive. And that was one of those weird instances where the author, instead of spending that time capitalizing on her thoughts about drinking and driving, maybe go into more detail about how this person died at work.
Yeah.
Or like her actual emotional state and not just, I am sad.
I am sad. This is the self-destructive behavior I will engage in.
Now I'm gonna flirt with this man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Although I will call it, and just again, this was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it as, hopefully it has improved, and there's less of that.
Hopefully, yeah.
So, did we want to give it a rating?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I will go first. I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Ooh.
Which is kind of low for me, especially for something that I did enjoy. But I don't think it was as well structured as it could have been.
Yeah.
I think it kind of bounced around. I think that the actual connections between people weren't explored as much as they could have been. But I like to think that they've improved. And I want to read more of their stories, so 3.5.
Nice. I give this story 3 masks out of 5. Yeah, it was cute. It was a cute story, but it was repetitive. But I don't know. I did enjoy it. Like, grammatical errors and spelling issues aside, I did enjoy the story. So
I would agree. I also like the story. This is actually kind of the type of stories I read on fanfiction, and just like this light, kind of romance type of stories is kind of what I'm into.
Absolutely.
And I read this all in my lunch hour while I was at work. Like, I just read it all just very quickly. And it's a light read, which is fine. It was repetitive with every chapter. It's kind of like the same, like, oh, what a coincidence, you're here. But yeah, 3.5 masks, I think, do its justice.
All right.
And ST?
I will give it 2.5 masks for all the reasons that you guys talked about. But the spelling and the grammatical errors got me. It just took me out of it too much.
Yeah.
But the story was absolutely adorable. So, like, for concept and everything, Ace_Sama, good show.
Thank you for listening to the Fanfiction Book Club. Our pick this week was Unrequited Love, Blame Assumptions by Ace Sama. You can find this story and more of the author's work on Archive of Our Own. Theme song is Funko Rama by Kevin MacLeod. You can find more of Kevin's music on incompetech.filmmusic.io/artist/Kevin-MacLeod. The works discussed on the Fanfiction Book Club are not our own. All characters mentioned belong to the original authors. Until next week.
Bye!